Howdy y'all, you got the Bulldog on the channel. I took on another job. I didn't want to, but I've been running without a heater for 3 years and I know how it feels like. So yeah, I'll look at your heater fan. I've got a couple, 3 problems with this truck, but I hope they're small ones. First thing, speed number 4 went out on this truck, but no big deal. We've got all the other speeds, right? Okay. Fast forward 6 months and everything quit. Great. Well, I got it in and first thing I see is this here, and it's got a new resistor on it. I don't know about the fan motor yet, but it's clicking. I got it turned on high, and every once in a while the thing clicks. But you look right there, we've got some corrosion on the foam where these wires ride. So that tells me that we got something going on. There, click. Something clicked. Now I'll get my testing device. Okay, I'm gonna get an alternative testing device and we're gonna see if we're getting any power through this relay here. This is something that you have to watch. These are very common on these trucks. Chevrolet, GMC trucks, anything from pickups to SUVs, all the GMs in the truck line have that relay on them from, I don't know, early 2000s, clear on up until recent history. Of course, I don't see brand new ones because they're under warranty, but they all have this resistor. Used to be they had an actual wire resistor and everything went through it and it was controlled by a switch. Well, they made it better. They made it computerized and they put a relay on it here. Now the relay is a good thing. Actually, the relay is a good thing, except for the fact that this hot wire is hot at all times. So whenever you have a failure in this part here, they like to fuse this relay, because you just heard it click again. It likes to fuse this relay and turn your blower fan on. And that stuff does not run through the battery saver. The control runs through the battery saver. This is a hot wire. So if that relay fuses, it'll turn your blower fan on and run your battery down overnight. Word of warning. It will, you know, they're supposed to have a battery saver to where you have a load for 10 minutes and it shuts itself off and saves your battery. Whenever your control devices fuse, the actual power itself does not run through your battery saver. The control is what runs through it. So that's something to remember. We've got some pieces here. So we might have a little chewy going on up there, but I'm going to measure on this device. I don't have a wiring diagram, but there's not very many wires, so I should be able to find, you know, whether or not we have speed number 4 control from the switch. Because if I go to get parts, I'm expecting I'm going to need a blower fan. I expect it's going to be locked up. He said every once in a while it'll come on and blow. Most of the time that's a blower fan, but it can also be, you know, this deal here, or both, or everything. It doesn't have to be one problem, one fix, because we know there's more than one problem. I'm gonna grab a test light and see if I can check. If we go for parts, I want to be able to get a blower fan. I'd like to be able to get the relay, and it looks like it has a left front wheel speed sensor. The thing's been going off ding 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 in his ear for months, and he's start to twitch, I'll get that taken care of too, if I can. If I can't, we're gonna take it down to the other shop and do it, because I've been swamped here, so I try not to do more than I have to, trying to get the little ones in and out to take care of everybody that's been waiting on me. So we're gonna check this out, see what we're gonna have to have. Okay, we've got no power here on 5 or 4, but 3, 2, and 1, we've got power, but the motor still don't run. So I'm gonna bet that we've got the motor bad, has burned up this resistor again. But we do have power getting to this. That means the power wire works. Now I don't see any corrosion or anything around this crimp that was put on there. So most likely it's something that burned up before. And now here we are having to deal with, oh, is that broken? Yep, that's broken. Oh, major corrosion on the ground. Okay, so that means we're gonna be putting a pigtail on it too. Oh, so, yikes. Ground is burned up. Well, there's a couple problems. Okay, we got all of our speeds. I checked them one by one. Of course, the orange one is 5. The purple one is 4. The blue one is 3. I think the yellow one is 2, and the tan one is 1. They might be switched, I don't remember. But look at this plug, it's burned clear up. Usually this is caused by a bad fan motor. They do that because it just, the fan motor pulls too much amperage and it melts the wires, burns up the connections. It just makes a bad day. I will get a new wire and harness. It's pigtails, what they call this, and put this on new. I'm gonna get a relay, put it on new, and then a fan motor and put it on new. I don't know. I think that relay was clicking, so I think we're best just go ahead and put a new fan motor on it. I'll pull it out and check it. It's probably gonna be stuck. Okay, fan's out. It spins all right, but I can't show you why this is bad because we don't have smell-o-vision. In this hole right here, that's where it, the cooling fins are. It blows and sucks some air through this to cool the motor. You can see down in there, it looks a little toasty. Well, it smells a lot toasty. So, fan's burned up. Probably burned this part up, which it is toast. Look at the different colored pins and everything in there. The switch is okay. We'll get a pigtail. Now, I'll check out some other stuff and we'll get back to this. Okay, now what I did was I jacked up the left front wheel here. The code that it's throwing, and it goes ding, 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 ding in the dash, is left front wheel speed sensor. It turns on the ABS lights. Left front wheel speed sensor. Signal failure. Well, it means it's electronically losing connection. So, well, what I did was I jacked up the left front wheel here, and I shake it. I don't have any slack. That's what usually is wrong, is the bearing's out. Well, I got the data up here on the scan tool, and I went to watch the data, and I got nothing. You have to spin it faster than 3 miles an hour, but still I got nothing. More than that, listen to that. We run into that every once in a while on these diesels. The engine is so loud up there that you can't hear the bearings. I'm going to call and give them the bad news. And I'll see if I can source a bearing today, and I might just go ahead and get it on there. I've already got to get a fan motor and a blower resistor and a pigtail. So I'm going to see if I can round up all these parts and give them some kind of a price. Okay, I've got a new motor, it's in. I've got a new resistor pack, it's in. And I've got a pigtail here. Now, usually on these things, I take the pins out of the pigtail, the good ones. But there's more bad ones than good ones in this. We've got fried ends, we got burnt terminals, we got melted plastic. This was broken. So you can see the ground wire is cooked completely off. It looks horrible. So I'm going to replace all of these. I'm going to leave the connectors in this. I don't like that they don't color code it, but it's cheap. They don't know which ones are big or small, so they put big ones in all of them. So it's just, it makes it hard to deal with, but oh well. I will solder and heat shrink all these together, and this part will be done. Okay, we've got the thing soldered in and taped up underneath there. And now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Off. Oh. Now I want to show you something. Here's the old plug. Now the reason all these wires are different lengths is when you're soldering something together in a kind of a bundle of wires, the first thing you want to do is cut them off the same length. Well, sometimes, but not usually. The reason that you don't want them the same length is because you solder it together and it's going to create a lump with your heat shrink over it or whatever. And then when you bundle them all together, all those lumps are next to each other and they rub on each other, and they're more likely to rub a hole in whatever insulation you've used, whether it's tape or heat shrink, even these things. This was a repair. These are the crimp on, maybe it's low temp solder, I don't know, but it's got a shrink on it. That is not a repair that I do. I do not use those things. Look at the ground here. This is the kind of stuff that I use. The smaller, thinner heat shrink. Usually I use the stuff with hot glue in it that seals it watertight, but it's not necessary inside of the vehicle like this. Main thing is just to solder it, you know, and eliminate the resistance in the wire. When there's no resistance, it's not going to heat up. This here, the resistance was in the plug, and that's why it burned up, because the ground has to carry all the speeds, and you know, they do tend to cook. But that's all taken care of. We're going to put this hush panel back up in there, and then we're going to go to work on that wheel bearing. Now, I've only got 2 bolts out on this hub. I've turned it, and I got the other 2 broke loose. I guess I carried my breaker bar down to the shop because I'm using a little ratchet and a breaker bar. My air is not what it should be here, so I'm having to break things loose gorilla style. But I want to show you, I did a Dodge here a few weeks ago, and you just have to beat your brains out on those things to get them out. Most of the time the Chevys aren't like that. So before I got it off, figured I'll just go ahead and start filming. Do as I say, not as I do. Don't ever hit this. Oh. 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 See how easy that came out. I don't know what Dodge does different. They don't come out like that. Steel's all clean. I don't know. All right, we're gonna stick the new one on and go back together. Yeah, you saw how that fell out of there. Didn't have to hammer on or hit it or nothing. This is why I'm replacing it. I don't know if it's the windings from this thing got down in there. It's open circuit most of the time. Every once in a while it will short. So listen to this. Now this bearing was not loose. I checked it several times. It was not loose. Dry as a bone. If I had a grease zerk in it, I could just grease it. Well, somewhere, you know, the sensor is blown apart, so. Okay, I just cleared the codes out of it. Let's go around for a run around the block and see how things do. All right, we went late last night on that truck, but I did get it done. We did some vehicle jockeying and got it back to him last night so he can go to work with it this morning. Everything went okay. Lights are out. No more ding, ding, dinging. I think what it was every time it would set the ABS code, it would try to short out and then it'd ding in the dash. I hope that's what it was. The wheel bearing was obviously bad and the sensor was obviously bad, so hopefully that takes care of everything. Those trucks do have dash problems and it's an outside chance that there's something else wrong with it that's causing them to ding, ding, dinging. I don't know. It did not give me trouble on an extended test drive last night, nor driving it back to the customer's house. He was not feeling well, so I took it back to him and had somebody else pick me up. So they got it back, successful repair. Like, comment, subscribe, hit your little bell notification, share it all around. We'll talk to you later.